This page is the front cover of a Nintendo 64 magazine, dated October 2000, priced at 490 yen. The main focus is on Mario Story, advertising a complete strategy guide with charts and maps up to Stage 5. It also highlights a feature on Nintendo Space World. Other games mentioned include Mario Tennis 64, Pokemon Gold and Silver, The Legend of Zelda GB, and Perfect Dark. It also refers to Furai no Shiren 2 and Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver. The cover features characters like Mario, Princess Peach, a Boo, and a girl in a kimono holding a fan. This page is the contents page of the magazine, highlighting the main features, such as a complete strategy guide for Mario Story, known internationally as Paper Mario, and a feature on Mario Tennis 64. The New Game Flash section introduces titles like Fura no Siren 2, likely a sequel in the Siren series which was Japan only, and Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver. The page also covers Space World news, including information on the Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, and Game Boy Color. Regular features and an index of games covered in the issue are listed. Small comic strips featuring Mario characters are also present. This page is an advert for Pocket Monsters communication cables for the Game Boy, designed to enhance battling and trading between players. There are customizable character kits available with Pokemon like Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, allowing users to personalize their cables. Additionally, there are themed Pikachu and Togepi cables also on sale, with prices of 980 yen for the character kit and 1,980 yen for the themed cables, sold by KEMCO. The next page is an advertisement for the Mario Story Strategy Guide for the N64. Known as Paper Mario internationally, it's advertised as a complete strategy guide that covers up to Stage 5 of the game, including charts, maps, and data. The guide also features information on badges, star pieces, and enemy data, providing a full walkthrough. It even includes techniques to make battles easier, aiming to be a comprehensive resource for players who might be struggling. The guide is priced at 6,800 yen. The game itself is noted as an RPG for one player, and is for the N64 console. The next page is a technique guide focusing on boss battles in Paper Mario. It emphasizes the importance of equipping badges strategically before facing bosses, as they are much stronger than regular enemies. The guide recommends several badges for boss fights, explaining their effects, such as the Tatsujin badge for easier action commands, the Renzoku jump badge for continuous jump attacks, and badges that boost jump and hammer attack power. The page also introduces Mario and his partner characters, explaining their battle techniques and special abilities at different ranks. Finally, it details star power and the special abilities granted by star spirits, unlocked as you progress through the game, listing abilities like healing, putting enemies to sleep, attacking all enemies, and reducing enemy attack power, each with different star power costs. This page is all about Mario's story, known as Paper Mario internationally, and it's giving players advice on how to play based on status growth. It discusses choosing between focusing on HP, heart points, for a straightforward, resilient playstyle, or BP, badge points, to utilize more badges and special moves for a strategic approach. The page details partner characters like Curio, Goombario, who provides enemy info and attack boosts, Kameki, Cooper, who can retrieve items from afar and attack with shells, Pinky, Bombette, who can destroy walls and use bomb attacks, and Palette, Parakarry, who helps Mario fly and attack from above. It explains their unique abilities and moves, encouraging players to choose a style that suits them, either brute force with HP focus or tactical gameplay with BP focus. This page is a gameplay guide for Paper Mario. It focuses on mastering action commands and timing for successful battles. The page highlights 3 key tips: rapid button presses using fingers other than the thumb, pressing timing-based commands slightly early, and observing enemy movements carefully to time defenses. The guide then details specific partner characters and their abilities in battle. Lessa, likely a character name variation, uses 3 D-stick commands for moves like Resa Binta to attack single enemies, and Odorokashi to surprise all enemies. Ekarin, another partner character, uses A-button presses and timing for attacks like Piri Piri attack and Shibire Flash to paralyze enemies, and Power Up to increase Mario's attack. Obuku, the fish character, uses 3 D-stick and A-button commands for water-based attacks like Attack Jump, Mizu Tepao, Water Gun, and Funsha, Spray, to target single or all enemies. Finally, the page briefly mentions Princess Peach as an active princess, who can be controlled in certain situations within the game. Exploring Peach's Castle. The page uses screenshots and tables to explain these gameplay mechanics and character skills. The next page is a complete strategy guide using dungeon maps and trap explanations for the game Paper Mario. This guide covers the story from the prologue to stage 5 and is divided into field sections and dungeon sections with easy-to-understand charts and explanations, ensuring players won't get lost. The guide features a field connection map showing how areas connect in the game's world, from Kuri Village to Gutsugutsu Volcano, across various regions of the Mushroom Kingdom. The map uses numbers to divide areas and larger text to indicate dungeons. The guide explains how to understand the map, stating that fields are divided into areas, and map sections change as you move. Lines on the map show connections, and larger text indicates dungeons like Heiho's Toy Box and Nokono Grotto. This is a perfect strategy guide for Mario Story, Paper Mario, with a planned release date of September 7th. This page is a strategy guide for Mario Story, which is known internationally as Paper Mario. It explains how to use the strategy guide, breaking it down into field and dungeon sections. The field section guides you through overworld areas and maps, highlighting star locations, super blocks, and item placements. The dungeon section focuses on dungeons, showing maps, badge locations, and strategies for traps and boss battles. The guide visually maps out game areas, like Mario's house, Mushroom Town, and various locations such as Whispering Woods and Gusty Gulch, showcasing paths and numbered locations within each area. Each area title includes star ratings and badge counts to indicate difficulty and item rewards. This page is a walkthrough guide for the N64 game Paper Mario, known in Japan as Mario Story. It focuses on the Field Edition and covers the initial areas of the game, including Kanoko Castle, Kuribo Village, Mario Road, Kanoko Town, and Star Falls Hill. The guide provides step-by-step instructions for players to progress through these areas, referencing maps and describing key actions needed. The page features gameplay screenshots, and a Goomba character image is displayed at the top right. This page is a walkthrough strategy guide for Stage 1 of Paper Mario, titled Kuri Yaku no Kobros no Torrid, which could be roughly translated to Iceburn no Kobros Fortress. It's the field chapter, and provides a step-by-step guide with numbered charts for different areas like Poka Poka Road, Nokonoko Village, Noko Bros Fortress, Kanoko Castle, and Kanoko Town. The guide includes text instructions and small map diagrams for each area, detailing actions like hitting trees with a hammer, talking to Kameki, and battling enemies like Korobombs and Kawapa. The Pinch to Lucky badge is recommended, which helps Mario when his HP is low by making enemies miss attacks. The next page is a walkthrough guide for the N64 game Paper Mario, or Mario Story in Japan, focused on the Nokoborosu's Fortress Dungeon. It presents step-by-step instructions, referencing map screenshots to help players navigate. The guide details actions such as defeating enemies to get keys, using switches, and overcoming obstacles like fire bars. It highlights sections on how to get past fire bar traps to obtain a key, and rescuing a character named Pinky, possibly Goombario in the English version, to use their ability to destroy walls in the dungeon. The guide seems to provide a comprehensive walkthrough, with visual aids and specific instructions to progress through this part of the game. This page is a strategy guide for Stage 1 of Mario Story, known as Paper Mario internationally. It gives tips for navigating the levels, focusing on puzzle elements using Koopa Troopas to press switches, and avoiding killers in the castle wall sections. The guide also details the boss fight against the Koopa Bros, highlighting their combined attack called Screw Attack. It advises players to use hammer attacks to separate them and then attack individually, or use Pinky's Bakuhatsu explosion to defeat them in one hit. The recommended badge for this stage is the multi-jump badge. The page also displays map sections showing level progression from map 5 to 12 and map 16. This page is a walkthrough guide for Stage 2, Arabian Iseki no Nazo, in the game Paper Mario. The stage is broken down into areas: Gasotsu Mountain, Kara Desert, Kara Town, and Kino Town, each with numbered steps guiding the player. There are gameplay screenshots and a field connection map that shows how these locations are connected. A specific section focuses on Chart 32, Postman Paletta's letter search, detailing how to find Paletta's letters within Gasotsu Mountain. This page is a strategy guide for the Nintendo 64 game Paper Mario. It focuses on the Arabian Ruins section of the game and provides a walkthrough with numbered chart points. The guide details steps like finding Loren at the information shop in Karata Town to learn about the Arabian Ruins, getting the Pika Pika stone from Loren by climbing a tree near a building, and navigating Peach's actions in the castle. There are also tips for gameplay, such as using the Earthquake Attack badge, and a map of the Karata Desert area with numbered locations. The guide uses screenshots from Paper Mario to illustrate the instructions and locations within the game. This page is a guide for the Arabian Ruins dungeon in Paper Mario. It's a walkthrough with 29 steps and map references, guiding players through the dungeon. The guide details actions such as getting keys, activating switches, and using Pinky to bomb cracked walls. Map images help visualize the layout. Chat 10 provides helpful tips about switches and sand traps. Screenshots and text explain core mechanics, such as how switches trigger sand traps, and Pinky's bomb ability against cracked walls. The next page is a strategy guide for Paper Mario. It details walkthrough information for specific sections of the game, referred to as charts and maps. Chart 12 explains how to use switches to operate stairs and obtain the Super Hammer. Chart 28 describes a puzzle involving placing star, moon, and square stones into a Wan Chain Chomp statue. Chart 29 provides boss strategy for a fight against Carmen, advising players to defeat the Wan enemies first, as they are strong defensively, and to be cautious of magic attacks that can harm allies. The page also indicates recommended badges, specifically mentioning the Togera Guard. The page also shows a map layout of the game area numbered from 5 to 8 and 14 to 19. This page is a strategy guide for Stage 3 of the game Mario Story, known internationally as Paper Mario. The stage is called Fujimi no Dogobon, and this guide is the Field Edition. The page focuses on how to navigate through areas like the Forest of Illusion, Teresa's Mansion, Poo Poo Hill, Dogobon's Castle, Mushroom Castle, and Mushroom Town. It provides numbered walkthrough steps for each area, along with a field connection map showing the layout of these locations. The text at the top right describes Dogobon as an immortal ghost who loves ghosts, and whose secret to immortality needs to be uncovered. The guide is part of a perfect strategy guide for Mario Story, and notes the game is scheduled for release on September 7th. This guide outlines the strategy for Paper Mario's Stage 3, Fujimi no Dogobon, focusing on Teresa's Mansion, Maze Woods, and Shy Guy's Toy Box. In Teresa's Mansion, Mario encounters Lesarisa, who becomes a friend after solving traps on the 3rd floor. Maze Woods features a flying Koopa in Area 7. Players should use jumps or items to attack it. To enter Shy Guy's Toy Box in Kanoko Town, Lesarisa's transparency is key to navigating through walls using a jump platform. The guide also recommends the Multi-Bounce badge, purchased for 75 coins, for attacking enemies effectively. This page is a strategy guide section for the N64 game Dokapon Journey. The guide focuses on the Fujimi no Dokapon dungeon arc of the game. It provides walkthrough instructions for navigating Dokapon Castle, Pew Pew Hill, and Kingoko Castle. The guide uses numbered charts and map screenshots to illustrate the steps and locations within the game. Chart 3 details steps to navigate Dokapon Castle, including breaking wooden floors with a spin jump, obtaining keys from treasure chests in rooms, and using keys to open doors. Chart 4 provides a tip on getting through thorny areas by using Lesalesa's ability to become transparent. Chart 6 gives instructions on avoiding detection by Dogobon by using Lesalesa's transparency ability in Map 18 and escaping to Room 19. The page includes map screenshots numbered from 1 to 9 and 15 to 19, showing different areas within Dokapon Castle and Pew Pew Hill. This page is a strategy guide for Paper Mario covering Stage 3, specifically the Fujimi no Dogobon section. It guides players through obtaining the magic key from Map 22 and escaping Dogobon. The guide then details the boss battle with Dogobon, explaining his amazing attack and suggesting using Surasasa's hide ability to dodge it. It also mentions that Dogobon's weakness is exposed when his HP drops below 5, making him easier to defeat. The page recommends using the Spike Jump badge found in Map 4 to overcome enemy defense. The guide uses map images and gameplay screenshots to illustrate the walkthrough steps for this portion of Paper Mario. This page is a walkthrough guide for Stage 4 of a game called Hey Ho's Toy Box. It's divided into sections covering different areas like Hey Ho's Toy Box and Field Edition, Mushroom Town, and Mushroom Castle, each with numbered steps and map references. The guide provides instructions on how to progress through these areas, mentioning items you need to collect like a key, frying pan, and cake, and how to use them. For example, in Hey Ho's Toy Box, you need to get a toy train and use a toy music box. And in Mushroom Town, you need to give a key to a shop owner and find an unreadable memo. In Mushroom Castle, you make a cake using ingredients like egg, sugar, flour, and butter, and then give the cake to a gourmet Hey Ho. The page includes map screenshots showing the layouts of these areas, with numbered markers corresponding to the walkthrough steps. It looks like a puzzle-solving adventure game where you interact with Shy Guy characters, Hey Ho, and collect items to advance through the stage. The final goal of this stage seems to be reaching Stage 5, as indicated at the bottom right. This page is a strategy guide for Paper Mario, known as Mario's Story in Japan, focusing on gameplay tips and boss strategies. It starts with advice on how to use the toy train item, explaining you need to find it and place it in the toy box to use it to travel between 4 stations in the game. There's a section on defeating the big lantern guy, suggesting you attack its lantern repeatedly before targeting its head to recruit Akari as a partner. For the boss fight against the armored stilt guy, which includes several types of stilt guys, it recommends conserving Mario's HP and FP for this long battle. The strategy is to destroy the train's electric orb to disable its electrical attacks, and then use partners like Akari or the Suranuki jump attack. The guide mentions the 4 train stations, blue, pink, green, and red, and that the train moves between them. It also describes a slot machine minigame in Map 10, where matching pictures can yield various items. The page features numerous screenshots of different maps in the game and concludes by recommending the Damage Heal badge, noting its high BP cost but effectiveness for players who struggle with action commands or have low HP, highlighting its damage reduction benefit from enemy attacks. This page is a walkthrough guide for Stage 5 of Paper Mario, set on Janbo Island in the South Seas. The guide is broken down into areas like Jungle, Yoshi Village, Mushroom Castle, Mushroom Town, Gatsu Mountain, and Forest of Illusion, providing step-by-step instructions for progressing through each location. The guide highlights several chart sections that provide gameplay tips. Chart 6 explains how to make Goomba a companion by hitting a tree he's stuck in 3 times with a hammer, allowing Mario to traverse water. Chart 9, 14, 17, 20, and 22 focus on finding mini Yoshis of different colors: red, blue, yellow, green, and purple. Chart 13 describes the Spinies, which Mario can use to reach higher places by jumping on and pressing the Z button to ascend. Chart 37 details Princess Peach participating in a quiz tournament, where you can win a parasol that seems good as a participation prize and a royal jelly for winning. This page is a strategy guide for Paper Mario. It features a field connection map outlining various zones like Jungle, Super Scene, Kanoko Town, Yoshi Village, Kanoko Castle, and Guts Volcano, with numbered locations indicating different stages or areas. The guide highlights specific scenarios through chart boxes. Chart 41 discusses confronting Koopa Troopa in Kanoko Town, advising players to use Karen's Biri Biri attack to defeat him quickly. Chart 46 details a quest in Kanoko Town involving collecting 4 mysterious seeds to unlock access to Flowerland. The page recommends the Power Plus badge to enhance Mario's attack power. Screenshots from the game are also included to illustrate the gameplay and areas being discussed. This page is a guide for the Guts Volcano dungeon in the game Mario Story, known internationally as Paper Mario. The page presents dungeon maps from 1 to 8, outlining the path to follow through the volcano. Charts provide gameplay tips, such as using the trolley in Map 3, crossing lava with a pallet in Map 2 and 4, and using blue blocks in Map 6 to manage lava flow. The guide also mentions obtaining the Ultra Hammer from a treasure chest in Map 7. It highlights that the terrain can be confusing and advises players to proceed carefully, especially in Map 3, where rocks might obscure the path ahead. This page is a strategy guide focusing on Stage 5, Southern Sea of Jumbo Isle, from Paper Mario for the N64. It details gameplay tips for navigating lava-filled areas and defeating bosses in Guts Volcano. The guide explains how to effectively use blue blocks as platforms to traverse the lava flows in Map 7. It also describes a puzzle in Map 12 where you need to clear golden blocks to release a spiked rock and break down a wall. There's a boss strategy section dedicated to the Fire Piranha plant. It details the boss stats like HP, attack, and defense, and importantly recommends using the Ice Power badge. This badge is highlighted as being extremely effective in the second encounter with the Fire Piranha plant, allowing for significant damage and temporarily extinguishing the boss's flames, making standard attacks effective. The guide emphasizes that using the Ice Power badge is highly recommended in Guts Volcano due to the prevalence of fire-based enemies. The page is visually supported by level maps from Map 4 through Map 16, showing the player's progression through the stage. The next page is a guide page focusing on badge data for the game Paper Mario. It explains that BP stands for badge points, FP for flower points, and AC for action command system. Also detailing that range indicates the attack range with single enemy, multiple enemies, and all enemies as options. The page lists various badges obtainable up to stage 5, detailing their BP and FP cost, their range and action command type, their effect, where to find them, and how to obtain them. Examples include badges like Ice Power, which imbues attacks with ice, Ultra Jump for a powerful jump attack, and Gutsy Jump for a high-power jump attack. Other badges like Danger Power increase attack when in danger, Coin Return gives coins back when using items, and Jump Charge charges jump attacks. This page acts as a detailed reference for players looking to understand and collect badges in Paper Mario. The next page is a strategy guide for Paper Mario on the N64, specifically focusing on badges. It details a variety of badges, listing 27 in total, each with their battle points, BP, and flower points, FP cost, and their in-game effect. The guide tells you where to find each badge and how to acquire them, often involving exploring specific locations like Kinoko Town, deserts, castles, forests, and volcanoes, completing tasks like defeating enemies or finding hidden blocks and treasure chests. Many badges can be purchased at the Rotten Shop in Kinoko Town, while others are found in different areas throughout the game world by completing puzzles or challenges. The badges offer a range of abilities, from increasing stats like HP and FP, to modifying attacks and granting special effects in battle. This page is a walkthrough guide focusing on collecting star pieces in the game Paper Mario, known as Mario Story in Japan. It details 27 different star pieces obtainable up to stage 5. Each section is numbered and provides the location, conditions, and method to acquire the star piece. For example, Star Piece 1 is located in Arababin Village 6 and has no special conditions. To get it, use a switch to drop sand, which will make it appear in the right-hand side of the room. Star Piece 2 is found in Karakara Desert 26 and requires learning the Kururin Jump. It is obtained by performing a Kururin Jump just south of the Saboten Rock in the center of the path. Star Piece 3 is in Karakara Desert 5 and also has no special conditions. You need to get Charles's favorite thing in Arababin Village 9 and give it to Charles to get the star piece. The guide continues with similar instructions for star pieces found in various locations like Kinoko Town, Kuri Village, Gutsgutsu Volcano, Gosgos Mountain, Teresa's Mansion and Jungle, detailing specific actions like Kururin jumps in certain spots, hitting trees with a hammer, and using items to obtain the star pieces. The guide provides specific locations within each area, often referencing landmarks and actions Mario needs to perform. This page is a strategy guide for Mario Story, known as Paper Mario internationally. It provides locations and methods for finding hidden star pieces within the game. Each numbered section details a different area of the game, like Boo's Mansion, Koopa Village, Shy Guy's Toy Box, Pleasant Path, Shooting Star Summit, Forever Forest, Mount Rugged, Yoshi Village, and Dry Ruins. The guide explains how to use the Kururin Jump, spin jump, in specific spots, often near floor-level changes, to reveal these star pieces. There is a column explaining that the secret is to look for slight floor elevations when doing a Kururin jump, indicating a hidden star piece. It also mentions that the hammer can be used to obtain star pieces, particularly the Ultra Hammer, acquired later in the game. The next page is a monster data guide for Paper Mario. It showcases a collection of monsters found within the game up to stage 5, detailing 64 monsters in total to help players strategize for battles. For each monster, it lists their name, HP, attack and defense power, their location where they can be found, and a short description of their abilities or characteristics to help players fight them effectively. Some examples include Goombas, Shy Guys, and variations of these classic Mario enemies with their specific battle information. It's a handy reference for players wanting to know what they're up against in Paper Mario. This page is a strategy guide for Mario's story, known as Paper Mario internationally, providing an in-depth look at various enemies within the game. Each enemy is detailed with stats like HP, attack power, and defense, alongside descriptions of their behaviors and attack patterns. The guide covers a wide range of enemies such as Nokoko, Hyper Buzzy Beetle, Paratroopa, Hyper Goomba, Buzzar, Spiked Goomba, Balloon Goomba, Big Lantern Ghost, Bilibili Gesso, Pyrolling Grass, Fire Piranha Plant, Poochie Piranha Plant, Black Goomba, Goomba, Poison Piranha Plant, Boroda, Meta, Yami Gakuri, Yami Kuribo, Yami Nokoko, Red Kamek, Yaridansa, Wanwan, Bomuhei, White Kamek, and Big Gesso. It also features a section explaining star points awarded for defeating enemies, noting that the amount decreases as Mario's level increases, and recommends staying at a lower level to gain more star points from stronger enemies. Lastly, it mentions useful badges in battle and lists attack-type badges like Suzuki Kishi Jump, Renzoku Jump, Jishin Attack, Surazuki Kinagurien, Happy Heart, Power Plus, Damage Heal, and Night Vision, along with support badges such as Tough Guard, Super Defense, and Super Bugeyo. Screenshots from the game are shown in the bottom right, showcasing gameplay scenarios in Level 8 and Level 26. This page is about side quests in Paper Mario, called Nokojiro's Request Event from Elder Nokojiro in Nokonoko Village. It lists 17 different requests players can undertake up to Stage 5. Completing these quests rewards the player with items like coins, silver cards, star pieces, and gold cards. The page details each request, including where to find it, what needs to be done, and the reward. For example, request number 1 at Nokonoko Village 2 requires getting Kame no Shinbi from Charles's wife and rewards a coin. Request number 8 at Hoshi no Furu Oka 3 involves getting Mr. Tail's autograph and rewards 3 star pieces. The bottom part of the page is about Super Block List and Partner Rank Up. It explains how to use Super Blocks, found in various locations shown with screenshots and map references like Karakara Desert 49, Dokubon Castle 9, Guts Volcano 9, and Kinoko Town Underground Passage 8, to rank up partners in Paper Mario. Ranking up partners increases their attack power and teaches them new moves. The page highlights that there are 12 super blocks to collect up to Stage 5 and encourages players to find them to power up their partners. This page details items in Paper Mario, categorized into an item list, and items to bring to gathering places go. The item list describes various items and their effects, spanning healing, offensive, and miscellaneous uses. Some examples include healing items, Kinoko, Super Kinoko, status effect items, Sleepy Child, POW block, and damage dealing items, Fire Flower, Thunderclap. The items to bring to gathering places go section describes radio events in Nokonoko Village. Players must deliver specific items to designated locations within a time limit after hearing radio announcements. For example, bringing a Kame Kame leaf to Kinoko Town within 5 minutes rewards maple syrup. Finally, the page covers the Coin 64 exchange in Kinoko Town. Players can exchange 64 coins with Bodokuru for a random item, with the item received determined by the number of previous exchanges. The rewards can range from star pieces to different types of Kinoko mushrooms, based on the trade number. This page is centered around Mario Tennis 64, advertising a ring shot contest. It features characters from the Mario universe playing tennis, including Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Wario, and Waluigi. The page promotes a special ring tournament mode and provides an entry code for players to participate in the contest. The contest deadline is August 25th. Tips for the ring shot contest are given, advising players to aim for high scores and consistently hit volleys from near the net to easily collect rings and maximize points even with slight misses. The page highlights that this game is easy to pick up but has depth for advanced players. It encourages players to improve their skills and learn character techniques to become better at the game. This page is a lesson page focused on improving your skills in Mario Tennis 64. The guide is titled Mario Tennis 64 Iron Rule and Practical Lecture and teaches advanced techniques. It starts with the basics of serving, emphasizing the importance of serve placement, spin, and character abilities for powerful serves. 2 key strategies for service aces are explained: aiming for the corner and hitting near the center line. The guide then discusses the direction of serve curves and moves on to service returns, advising players to step slightly forward when returning serve to anticipate the opponent's shot and position. The page uses screenshots and diagrams to illustrate these tennis techniques in Mario Tennis 64. This page provides basic tennis strategies, likely for the game Mario Tennis on the N64, evident from the screenshots featuring Mario characters on a tennis court. The page is divided into sections explaining the fundamentals of singles and doubles play, covering stroke and volley techniques. For singles, it emphasizes returning to the center after each shot and adjusting position based on the opponent. Stroke basics suggest using slice shots from deeper positions and powerful shots when possible. Volley basics recommend patience and repeated volleys on hard courts, waiting for a chance to smash a high ball. Doubles strategy focuses on hitting cross-court shots and having the front player positioned centrally for volleys. The page essentially serves as a beginner's guide to tennis within the context of the Mario Tennis game. This page from a gaming magazine focuses on Mario Tennis 64 and provides strategic gameplay advice for players. It's titled Mario Tennis 64 Strongest Grand Slam Lecture and is part of a series about mastering the game. The page breaks down battle tactics based on the situation, such as singles versus computer opponents and doubles play. For singles matches against the computer, it recommends using topspin shots, while flat shots are suggested against human players. Against computer-controlled net players, two key strategies are highlighted: using lobs to force smashes and employing drop shots to catch them off guard. Target characters particularly vulnerable to drop shots are listed as Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Boo, and Shy Guy. The section on doubles focuses on lob shots and positioning. It advises that if a lob is used and the opponent attempts a smash, players in doubles should immediately move back to prepare to return the shot. For service and volley tactics, it suggests aiming serves precisely at the corners and then capitalizing on returns that come towards the center, hitting to the opposite side. This strategy is described as effective even against the toughest opponents. Throughout the page, screenshots from Mario Tennis 64 are used to visually illustrate these tennis techniques and gameplay scenarios. This page is all about tips and tricks for playing tennis on the Nintendo 64. Specifically focusing on Mario Tennis 64. It covers various techniques to improve your game. One section emphasizes hitting cross-court shots, especially for smashes near the service line, as straight shots are more likely to go out. It advises aiming for cross-court returns in doubles and being cautious with straight returns, as they can be easily volleyed. Another tip is about using charged shots, saying it's important to charge your shot in power mode. It recommends using the Z trigger to charge and then pressing A or B to hit the ball, suggesting this is crucial for power shots. There's also advice on angled shots and weak topspin shots, suggesting players use angled shots when aiming for sharp angles. It mentions that weak topspin shots with a single press can create significant angles. Finally, there's a section on volleys and angled volleys, advising to use drop shot volleys by moving the 3D stick to the left or right when volleying. It points out that the angle of drop volleys can vary by character and recommends practicing to master them and use them to create chance balls. It also warns against charging the B button too early before a volley. The page mentions characters like Wario, Koopa, Waluigi, and Donkey Kong in relation to using large characters against calm opponents, suggesting that their reach can be advantageous, and recommending hitting strong shots to the face of net-rushing opponents. This page is a guide for Mario Tennis 64, offering advanced tips on how to use star characters effectively. It explains that star characters are unlocked by winning tournaments and are powerful versions with enhanced abilities. The guide provides advice on playing with star characters, highlighting that while they are strong, they require careful play. Specifically, it mentions that serves can easily go out if timing is off, and shots can go out of bounds due to increased power, suggesting players should aim for cross-court shots. The guide also details a special star tournament, which is a high-level tournament where all characters are star characters, requiring significant skill and time to conquer. The page shows gameplay screenshots including a double fault screen and the character selection screen, showing how to select a star character by holding the R trigger while choosing a character. A tournament flow is outlined, mentioning the Rainbow Cup, Moonlight Cup, and Planet Cup, and how winning tournaments unlocks harder versions. This page features gameplay tips and character analysis for Mario Tennis 64. It focuses on Mario and Wario, providing their ability stats, basic strategies, and advanced advice. For Mario, the page highlights his all-around capabilities, noting he is a versatile player with good speed and power. The strategy section advises players to utilize slices against power-type opponents and to adjust shots based on the opponent's playstyle. The advanced advice emphasizes using volleys and smashes when opportunities arise. For Wario, the page describes him as a powerful stroke player. It suggests players should focus on utilizing his strong strokes and spin shots. The advanced advice recommends understanding the quirks of Wario's serve and being cautious with smashes, opting for backhands instead when possible to maintain accuracy. This page is dedicated to Mario Tennis 64 strategy and character analysis, focusing on Luigi and Waluigi. For Luigi, the guide recommends a stroke-based game played slightly forward on the court, emphasizing deep shots and net approaches when the opponent weakens. Luigi excels at net play and smashing, utilizing his reach, especially against high lobs. Expert advice highlights Luigi's strong slice, making him effective in rallies, along with good volley and lob skills, though his slice isn't the strongest overall. For Waluigi, the strategy shifts to cross-court shots towards the service line and net approaches. Drop shots are advised before moving to the net, setting up volleys for finishing points. Expert advice points out Waluigi's weaker slice, making him more vulnerable in rallies, but he compensates with a long reach, making him strong at returning serves and, in general, return games. Both character breakdowns include ability ratings and basic to advanced strategy tips. In Mario Tennis N64, Peach and Daisy offer distinct gameplay styles. Peach is a control-focused character with improved shot speed, but players must be careful of overshooting. Her strengths lie in control and lobs, and weaknesses in power and reach. Basic strategy involves drop shots and corner targeting. Advanced play suggests angled, top-spin shots, especially on high balls. Daisy is a power-focused net player. Her strengths include power, reach, and volleys. Her weaknesses are spin, control, and lobs. The basic strategy uses slices for curved shots and cross-court plays. Advanced play encourages aggressive net play, smashing, and using drop volleys to set up angled or cross-court winners. During stroke battles, strong slices should be employed to advance to the net and use angled shots to move opponents, capitalizing on net opportunities. This page is a strategy guide for Mario Tennis 64, focusing on character-specific tactics and techniques. It features two characters, Baby Mario and Pinocchio, Toad, each with their own sections. For Baby Mario, it highlights that he's a speed-type character excelling in serve and shots. His weakness is reach. The guide advises to be cautious when hitting flat shots due to his height, making it easier to hit smashes and potentially overshoot or hit the net. It recommends using his speed to get to higher positions to hit. The expert advice section notes his low height makes smash stance easy and lob ability high, emphasizing lob shots are effective. For Pinocchio, Toad, described as a stroke and net play character, the guide mentions his speed is also fast. His weakness is net play. It suggests using slice shots to target corners in stroke play. Slices curve slightly, making them effective and less risky when pressured, advising to mix in topspin shots too. The expert advice states his lob ability is high and balls curve more than expected, suggesting using forehand and backhand shots effectively like the Teresa and Patapata characters. Both character sections include basic strategy and expert advice sections, along with character stat charts showing their abilities in movement speed, shot height, spin, volley, volley reach, control, lob, and serve. The page uses screenshots to illustrate gameplay situations and advice. This page focuses on character strategy and tips for Mario Tennis on the Nintendo 64, featuring Yoshi and Birdo. It analyzes Yoshi as a character who compensates for lack of power with aggression, noting his strengths are movement, control, and lob shots, but his reach and power are limited. The strategy advises forcing net play against the computer. For returns, it suggests not standing too far forward due to potential floaty topspins, recommending slice returns instead. Birdo, or Kasserin, is described as a well-rounded character with strong serves and shots. While her volley reach is short, her speed helps compensate. Strategy tips emphasize a baseline game, focusing on powerful serves and deep shots. The page also gives general advice regarding net play timing, stressing caution due to slower volley speed and short reach for speed-type characters. It recommends using drop shots or strong slices before approaching the net. Finally, it warns about the inaccuracy of serves and smashes, particularly for star characters, suggesting careful aiming to avoid faults and overshots. For both Yoshi and Birdo, Foot speed on clay courts is highlighted as a key advantage. This page is a guide for Mario Tennis 64. It focuses on character strategy for Donkey Kong and Bowser, who are described as powerful players. For Donkey Kong, the guide highlights his strong backhand flat shot and advises players to aim for the opponent's backhand. It also mentions Donkey Kong's slow reaction and movement speed, advising players to anticipate the ball's trajectory. For Bowser, the guide emphasizes his powerful serve and stroke, suggesting aggressive play with ground smashes. It also warns about Bowser's tendency to overshoot the net due to his strong topspin, and advises players to position themselves further back when hitting near the net. Screenshots show gameplay examples and advice for using these characters effectively. This page is all about character strategies for Mario Tennis on the N64, focusing on Koopa Paratroopa and Boo. It highlights Koopa Paratroopa as a net player who excels with slice shots, and advises players to use slice shots even at the net. However, it warns about slice shots going out if you put too much angle on them. For Boo, the page also recommends slice shots to open up opportunities for net play, and emphasizes using lob shots as a counter to opponents who come to the net. Ability charts are shown for both characters, and screenshots from the game illustrate the tips being discussed. The next page is about Mario Tennis 64, and features character guides for Donkey Kong Jr. and Shy Guy. Hey-ho. For Donkey Kong Jr., the page details his abilities, which are rated from A to E, with D for movement, B for height, E for shot, E for spin, D for volley reach, E for control, D for lob, and D for serve. The basic strategy suggests using his power shots and waiting for a chance to strike. The expert advice is that there isn't anything particularly special to note, just to use him and enjoy playing. For Shy Guy, hey-ho, his abilities are also rated A to E, showing B for movement, C for height, C for shot, C for spin, E for volley reach, C for control, A for lob, and D for serve. The basic strategy highlights his speed and backhand weakness, and advises using slice shots to create space and then finish with topspin shots. The expert advice for Shy Guy is that his lob is very effective because the ball curves quite a lot. It also mentions that since he is fast, he can get to balls quickly, but there might be some quirks to his gameplay. The page provides gameplay screenshots demonstrating the advice given for each character. This page introduces Tennis GB Color Tentative, a new Game Boy Color title where you can enjoy tennis and nurture original characters. The game features a story mode set in a tennis academy where you train, compete in matches, and participate in events to develop your character's skills and become the best player. It also mentions various modes including exhibition matches and multiplayer using a link cable. A key feature is the connectivity with the Nintendo 64 version, Mario Tennis 64. By using a GB pack, you can link the GB Color game to Mario Tennis 64 to transfer characters you've trained on the Game Boy and use them in matches in the N64 game. This link also allows you to enhance your character's abilities in Mario Tennis 64 by competing in matches on the GB version. Conversely, characters from Mario Tennis 64 can be brought into the GB Color version. The page introduces Alex and Nina as the main characters, each with a background story. The controls in Tennis GB Color are said to be very similar to Mario Tennis 64, using A and B buttons with directional controls, allowing for easy and exhilarating matches. The page also mentions that the timing of serves and the concept of nice shots are important, just like in Mario Tennis 64. This Mario Tennis 64 Strongest Grand Slam lecture details strategies for top-level play. It features interviews with Camelot developers who reveal secret tactics for victory. The guide emphasizes character specialization, highlighting that character abilities remain consistent. Shot angles and body positioning are discussed with details of volleys, stressing the need for space to execute them effectively. Charge times for shots differ by character, with power types benefiting the most. The guide also includes doubles play tips. It advises staying slightly behind the net. Lobs are recommended as a counter strategy. A fierce battle report details a match between the Kabira brothers and the Camelot development team. The Kabira brothers, using Donkey Kong and a Waluigi, ultimately win after struggling in earlier matches. Peach is identified as a vulnerable character, and a rematch is promised. The next page is a strategy guide for Doraemon 3, Nobita's Town SOS, on Nintendo 64. It's part of a larger feature focusing on Area 3, the legendary engine's power, Rescue Giant. The guide provides tips for navigating specific areas, Rikusu Lake, and Kirifu Forest Mountaintop. For Rikusu Lake, the walkthrough advises using the water cleansing ship item to purify the polluted water, as entering dirty water will cause damage. It mentions that while there are warp holes and items to collect, you don't need to get everything there. In Kirifu Forest Mountaintop, the guide suggests using the tire flute whistle to deal with enemies called Kirifu. After defeating them, you can use a flower jump platform to reach higher areas, eventually leading to a pond near an old castle. This is where you will meet Reina and use the Time TV item. Later, you'll need to go to Daiwan Chanto's house and meet Reina again to get a piece of Hoshi. The page highlights that Stage 3 requires puzzle solving with items like the pistol, and hints that slingshot ammo might also be helpful. It also mentions that there are many weapon items to collect throughout the game, but no need to collect them all. This page details gameplay strategies for Doraemon 3, Nobita, and the Stone of Time, a Japan-exclusive N64 game. The guide is broken down into sections focusing on specific locations in the game and boss battles. The first section, Rix's Mizumi de Majin no Monshun Yushu, getting the Majin emblem at Lake Rix, explains how to obtain an item using the small light gadget. The second section, Poseido no Umi de Majin wo Fukatsu, reviving Majin in Poseido's Sea, guides players on how to use items like the Era Tube, Kokoroyodashi, and Shinkai Cream in a water-filled area to revive the character Majin. The third part, Garok no Tuhi Shinyu, entering Garok's Tower, describes how to navigate Garok's Tower, detailing puzzles involving wooden bridges, stone statues, and colored lights, yellow, red, and blue, that must be activated in the correct order to proceed. The final section gives tips for the vs Giant Kong boss battle, suggesting using ranged attacks from the stage's edge to avoid damage and exploit the stage's layout to defeat the boss. It recommends using pistols as effective weapons. This page announces the launch of the Dengeki Online website. It highlights several key sections including a dedicated Dragon Quest V 2 fan community area, featuring a bulletin board, first-hand experience reports from a couple playing the game, and an illustration gallery. There are also sections for daily game news and software reviews, along with a Dengeki Town section packed with fun internet content and amusement information, showcased with a map graphic. Finally, the page mentions a Dengeki Nintendo 64's room, with segments like, What Day Is It Today?, and a web version of something called OG. This page highlights New Flash! Games that are coming soon. The page features 2 anime-style characters on the left side and a list of game titles on the right. The text above the top screenshot reads, 2000 Year, Trials Are Overcome, Complete Successor Descends to the Earth. Games mentioned on this page include Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2, Oni Invasion, Shiren Castle 2, for page 58, Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver for page 66, focusing on the new Little Cup rule, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, for page 68, highlighting secrets from Chapter of Earth, Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Earth, for page 70. Perfect Dark for page 72. WWF, WrestleMania 2000, WWF 2000, for page 74. The page is introducing these games as new and upcoming features in the magazine. The top screenshot appears to be from a futuristic action or shooting game, possibly related to the New Flash title. This page is all about Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2 for the N64, focusing on a new monster called Mazalon. Mazalon is described as a synthesis stomach monster, which means it can eat items thrown at it by Shiren to power itself up. Even more interesting is that Mazalon can synthesize items for the player. The page explains how to use Mazalon for item synthesis using a flowchart, where you feed Mazalon items, then defeat it to get the synthesized item back. It mentions you can combine different types of items, like weapons and herbs, to create powerful equipment. The game was showcased at the Space World exhibition and is a dungeon RPG, set to release on September 27th for 6,800 yen. The next page delves into the item synthesis system in Fushigi no Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2, a Japan-exclusive N64 title. It focuses on creating powerful items using a synthesis pot called Mazilm. The page explains how you can combine items with different abilities to enhance your weapons and armor. For example, merging a battle counter item with a Baxi scroll creates an item that not only counterattacks, but also puts enemies to sleep. Another combination, a katana and fire herb, results in a katana that can shoot fire, enabling ranged attacks. The article introduces the concept of quote, or marks, which represent the special abilities added through synthesis. These marks can be checked to understand the item's powers. Article. It's mentioned that combining identical item types strengthens these abilities. For instance, fusing multiple Ursoko shields enhances its defensive properties. The page also highlights that the number of abilities, or an item can hold, varies depending on the base item. Longswords can have up to 4 marks, while katanas can accommodate 5. Importantly, the article reassures players that the familiar synthesis pot mechanics from previous games are still in place, allowing for traditional item combinations, like sword with sword and shield with shield. This page focuses on the game Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2. It describes the traveling merchant, who appears in dungeons offering to sell items that are actually found on the dungeon floors, though they might be expensive. Sometimes, instead of an item, players might receive a discount coupon from him. The page also details Mamo, a new companion character. Mamo is the guardian deity of Mount Shuten and functions as a mobile warehouse, allowing players to store items whenever needed. The article describes how Shiren and Koppa met Mamo after hearing strange noises and finding disappearing mochi. It's emphasized that Mikamo has no attack power, making him reliant on Shiren for protection. This page is about the game Shiren the Wanderer 2, Oni Invasion, Shiren Castle, which was released only in Japan for the N64. It highlights unique facilities found halfway up Mount Shuten in the game. The page details 3 key locations: a traveling merchant shop run by an unusual merchant who usually roams dungeons but has settled here, an observation deck offering panoramic views and a place to check the castle's construction progress, and a blacksmith run by 2 women who can forge weapons and offer other services beyond just weapon enhancement, which was the limit in the SFC version. The page also reviews the castle building process, which is the main goal of the adventure. It breaks down the process into 4 steps: collecting materials in dungeons, processing these materials into parts at the mountaintop, transporting parts to Natane village, and finally, seeing the castle gradually take shape. The observation deck allows players to visually track the castle's completion. The Shuten Mountain Blacksmith Shop in Shiren the Wanderer 2 offers 3 services to enhance items. You can strengthen swords for a +1 attack power increase, with a chance for even greater enhancement, though only once per visit. Repair bracelets fixes cracked bracelets before they break from further damage. Lastly, remove seals allows you to remove 1 seal from an item, useful for adding new seals or removing curses. The game's seal system, particularly involving the synthesis monster Mazaron, is emphasized. The new ability to equip 2 bracelets simultaneously introduces both benefits and risks, as both can be damaged. The next page highlights new monsters and traps in Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2. It introduces new monster types, like the Sweet Kimal, described as similar to Jiraiya, the Boon Dragon, a dragon-type enemy, and Yamikichi, a panda-like monster that ignores terrain. The page details new traps, such as sleeping gas, which puts Shiren to sleep, and monster houses, rooms filled with monsters. There's also mention of water pot traps. The article also touches on monster pots, explaining that if you throw a monster pot at an enemy, you might befriend it and have it fight alongside you. It mentions that collecting monsters in Monster Kingdom is a fun part of the game. The next page is an item guide for Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2, a Japan-exclusive N64 title. It focuses on attack items and how to use them effectively. The page highlights item synthesis and the vast number of items available in the game. It details offensive items, emphasizing the Staff of Wishes, which lets you attack and simultaneously push back enemies, offering a defensive advantage. It also covers power-up items, specifically Scrolls of Blessing, that enhance weapon attack power with Heaven's Blessing Scrolls, and shield defense power with Earth's Blessing Scrolls. The guide explains the spear weapon, noting its reach advantage to attack enemies from a distance and avoid counterattacks. Finally, it introduces Weasel Sickle arrows, which are unique for their 3-way attack capability, useful for escaping pinches, and effective against bowyer-type enemies, noting that even with the 3-way shot, only 1 arrow is consumed. The next page introduces defensive items in Shiren the Wanderer 2. Oni Attack, Shiren Castle, and emphasizes how crucial defense is. It describes items like the Karakroid Shield, which prevents trap triggering, and the Todo Shield, which stops item theft. Scrolls are also featured, including the Water Drying Scroll to clear flooded areas, the Clone Scroll to create decoys, and the withdrawal scroll for a quick escape back to town, keeping only equipped items. The page also teases more mysterious items like Debuta stones for ranged attacks, Band Tribe shields of unknown wooden origin, slow footstaffs to hinder enemies, power bracelets for boosted strength, cannonballs hinting at cannon use, and special onigiri with unknown effects, although in the Super Famicom version they increased fullness. Finally, it highlights that the warehouse system has been enhanced in this sequel. This page introduces Pokemon Stadium Gold/Silver, which is stated as the newest installment in the Pokemon Stadium series and is scheduled for release in December. It highlights that Pokemon from the Gold and Silver Game Boy games will be usable in battles, along with new cups and power-ups. The page promotes aiming to become a Pokemon Master and encourages players to start training their Pokemon. The page details various moves that can be used, mentioning that Pokemon moves have special effects in battles. It shows screenshots of moves like Grass Cutter, described as a basic Grass-type move, Confusion Ray Spin, an occult-type move that causes confusion, and Ember Wheel, a fire-type move that seems powerful. The column section discusses Pokemon born from eggs in Pokemon Gold/Silver, explaining that breeding Pokemon at the daycare in those games can lead to eggs being discovered. These eggs hatch into baby Pokemon, the least evolved form of the female parent's Pokemon line. The page also announces that Red, Green, Blue, and Pikachu Pokemon from the Game Boy games are all usable in Pokemon Stadium Gold/Silver. It points out that some Pokemon may have changed types or moves in the Gold/Silver versions, and eggs can teach powerful moves, suggesting players should raise their Pokemon in Gold/Silver. This page introduces a new rule for the Pokemon Stadium game called Little Cup. This new cup competition focuses on Pokemon that have been born from eggs. The page highlights that in this Little Cup, only small Pokemon born from eggs can participate. It mentions that while these Pokemon are low level, they can still be strong, especially with egg moves. The page also features screenshots showing gameplay of this new mode, with examples of Pokemon like Pichu, Marill, and Totodile in battle. A key question posed is, what kind of attacks will Pichu use? This page is all about The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, for the Game Boy Color. It's previewing the game, highlighting it as GB version information, and mentioning it was showcased at Space World. The article details the story setup, where Link is summoned to Koholint Island and meets Din, a dancer. A mysterious voice guides Link, telling him he is to face trials. Suddenly, the sky darkens, and a huge dragon, Gorugon, kidnaps Din, revealing her to be the Oracle of Seasons and the land's great power. Gorugon is identified as the leader of the Dark General Army. The article focuses on the Rod of Seasons, an item central to the gameplay. It explains that using this rod allows players to change the season in specific locations, impacting the environment and opening up new areas or solving puzzles. Screenshots show the same location in autumn and winter, demonstrating how the season change affects the landscape, such as water freezing over in winter. The tagline emphasizes, "Unravel the mysteries with the power of nature." The release is planned for December, priced at 3,800 yen. The next page dives into the unique characters that spice up the adventure in The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons on the Game Boy Color. It spotlights the Aura tribe, describing them as mysterious but amicable people living in hot regions, identifiable by their cloaked appearance. They are said to be helpful to Link, exchanging items, and the page even mentions a ring-tossing festival with them. The page introduces Ricky, the kangaroo, a companion character who aids Link in his quest. Ricky carries Link in his pouch and is a powerful ally, known for his speed and strong punches. The text also hints at other companion characters being available besides Ricky. Maple, a witch apprentice, is also featured. She's presented as a rival or obstacle in the field, bumping into Link and initiating item battles. Successfully engaging with Maple can lead to acquiring valuable items from her. Finally, the page mentions that familiar faces will continue to appear, including Daigaron, and, surprisingly, Impa is depicted as Zelda's wet nurse. It suggests that many familiar and new characters will create a lively and engaging adventure in this Zelda title. This page highlights the Nintendo 64 game Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Earth. It introduces the protagonist, Saki Amemiya, the leader of a salvation group who fights using repurposed police weapons. The game is described as a groundbreaking action shooter for the N64, blending 3D movement with shooting mechanics, where players aim and attack enemies in a near-future world. The page emphasizes the unique world setting, innovative controls, and cooperative play. The story is set in a new century where humanity, facing population growth, creates new life forms for food. These life forms, called ruffians, unexpectedly turn against humans, becoming aggressive and hunting them. In Japan, transformed into ranches for these creatures, the ruffians emerge, causing chaos and large-scale disturbances in the metropolitan area. An organization called Armed Volunteers attempts to suppress the uprising. Amidst this turmoil, a group offering unique salvation activities emerges, guiding people to resist both the ruffians and the armed volunteers, ultimately leading to an escape from the capital. The screenshots depict in-game action and the looming threat of the ruffians. The game promises a novel action-shooting experience unlike anything seen before on the N64. This page is an article previewing the N64 game Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Earth. The article is titled, "Is it possible to receive punishment by sin?" It highlights the game's new control method using the D-pad, Z-trigger, and 3D stick in combination for aiming and attacking. The text emphasizes the fresh gameplay feel and depth of story, promising that everything will become clear in the space world. The page also mentions visual scenes and cooperative play as enjoyable aspects of the game. The storyline involves a serious plot development where visual scenes are important. Quote, "Cooperative play is possible with 2 players, allowing players to borrow each other's power." The page introduces 2 characters, Alan, part of a mob of criminals, and a rescued girl, mechanized and supporting the group, Aina, a mysterious girl who appears in the story, All Eyes. It is unclear how she is involved in the main character Saki's fight against Ruffian. She may help by lending a hand when Saki is in trouble. The article suggests the game will offer various gameplay experiences, including defeating enemies together, moving the story forward with different characters, and exploring different viewpoints in cooperative play. This page is all about the upcoming N64 game Perfect Dark. It is being touted as the next evolution in 3D gun action games from Rareware, the creators of GoldenEye 007. The article introduces Joanna Dark as the central female agent protagonist and highlights the game's advanced AI and immersive gameplay focused on thrill, suspense, and tension. It mentions that the gameplay system is based on GoldenEye 007, but Perfect Dark offers an original near-future setting where Joanna Dark battles a megacorporation. The screenshots show in-game action. The game is planned for release within the year at a price of 6,800 yen. This page is dedicated to Perfect Dark, highlighting scenes from the game subtitled, "The Scene of Perfect Dark." It describes several gameplay aspects. One section, Stealth Infiltration, discusses enemy AI, noting enemies act intelligently like humans, thinking about their actions and reacting to the player's moves. Another section, Top Secret Missions, talks about mission variations depending on the game level, a tradition from GoldenEye 007. It mentions a variety of missions and the need to adapt strategy based on the level. The Powerful Weapons section emphasizes using ammunition sparingly. It showcases various weapons, including sniper rifles for long-range attacks and silenced weapons. It also notes the inclusion of 3D polygon weapons as a visual highlight. The page also features a cooperative play mode, mentioning 4-player versus modes, and a 2-player cooperative story mode. It details various multiplayer options, including team battles and adjustable comm character numbers. Finally, there is a section titled E3 Public Photos, PD Worldview, showcasing screenshots revealed at E3. These images depict various environments, a harbor town, a luxurious villa battle scene, and a snow-covered mountain base, each suggesting different mission locations within the game. It mentions that PD utilizes a memory expansion pack for higher performance, similar to Majora's Mask, and Donkey, resulting in smoother controls and improved AI and graphics compared to GoldenEye. But the page emphasizes the game's improved AI and graphics due to the expansion pack. This page is about WWF WrestleMania 2000 for the N64. It highlights the popularity of WWF wrestling and introduces the game as a way to experience it. The game features over 57 wrestlers, allowing up to 4 players, and focuses on realistically recreating the moves and excitement of American pro wrestling. The page mentions the cage match mode, where the goal is to escape the cage to win. It showcases various wrestlers including Steve Austin, known for his Stone Cold persona, The Rock, a charismatic figure, Triple H, known by his ring name initials HHH, and Mankind, a masked wrestler. The game is advertised as releasing in Japan on September 15th for 8,800 yen. It mentions the game is based on the popular Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 Udo Keishao series, implying it's the WWF version of that engine. The next page is focused on the game Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. It highlights that the game system is similar to the previous title but allows for deep, tactical gameplay with simple controls. The page explains the basic controls. D-pad for movement, A for grapple, B for strikes, R for strike defense, L to evade grapples, and C for actions like dashing. It details grapple and strike techniques, emphasizing that holding buttons changes the move. There's a gauge system that represents a wrestler's spirit, impacting move reversals and special moves when full. The page showcases various game modes including exhibition matches, Road to WrestleMania mode where you aim to win the belt, King of the Ring tournament for up to 16 players, pay-per-view mode to create custom events, Royal Rumble for up to 30 wrestlers, and an edit mode to customize wrestlers. Character spotlights feature Ken Shamrock, Paul Bearer, Shawn Michaels, and Kai Cenat, noting there are over 50 wrestlers available in the game. The text points out that the game's menus and wrestler names are in English, giving it an American wrestling feel. This page is a guide to Nintendo Space World 2000, an event held from August 25th to 27th at Makuhari Messe New Hall, with free admission. It highlights 4 key attractions. Firstly, the new Game Boy Advance hardware is finally being unveiled, with 140 units available to play 9 different game demos. Secondly, there are 83 new games playable across N64, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. The N64 zone will feature games coming from fall into next spring, and the Game Boy Color area has 60 titles. A screenshot of what appears to be Harvest Moon 64 is shown. Thirdly, there's a Celebi distribution event in the Celebi zone for winners, allowing players to get Celebi in their Pokemon Gold and Silver games using the time capsule feature. Lastly, the mobile adapter is debuting, showcasing software compatible with it, and demonstrating data exchange with mobile phones, hinting at the Game Boy becoming an information device. The page also provides venue access information and a layout map, showing zones for Celebi, GB Color, GB Advance, N64 experiences, a mobile display, and a goods sales area. This page showcases the Nintendo Space World 2000 exhibition software lineup, prominently featuring the Nintendo 64 with 14 titles listed. Headlining the list are action games like Sin and Punishment, Successor of the Earth, Perfect Dark, Banjo-Tooie, listed as Banjo-Kazooie's Great Adventure 2, Custom Robo V2, and Cubivore, Survival of the Fittest, Animal Leader. Party games Mario Party 3 and Animal Crossing, Animal Forest are also featured, alongside racing games like Mickey's Speedway USA and the RPG Furai no Shiren 2. Strategy and simulation titles Echo Delta and WWF WrestleMania 2000 appear, with the action RPG Mega Man Legends, Rockman Dash, and Dance Dance Revolution featuring Disney characters. The list concludes with strategy game Advanced Great Strategy, Ultimate War. The page also details event stage activities, including a Pokemon Stadium Gold/Silver exhibition match, a Mario Tennis 64 tournament final, a special live performance related to the game Kaijin Zone, and a Pokemon and Donkey Kong costume show. Additionally, it highlights the availability of merchandise at the venue, featuring popular characters like Pokemon, Kirby, Siren, Mario, Donkey Kong, and other Nintendo characters, with a focus on a Pichu plushie. This page previews upcoming Nintendo 64 titles, focusing on 10 key games. A table lists 14 games including Sin and Punishment, Perfect Dark, and Mario Party 3. Sin and Punishment is a 3D action game with a focus on saving humanity. Mysterious Dungeon. Wind of Siren 2 is an RPG with deep gameplay, encouraging exploration and strategic character development. Mario Party 3 is a party game designed for up to 4 players. Animal Crossing, tentative title, is a unique communication game set in a village with animal residents, evolving in real time. The page also notes that 2 games from the previous Space World, Mother 3 and Rhythm Tengoku, are still unreleased. The page previews several upcoming Nintendo 64 games. Perfect Dark is an action game with cinematic elements and advanced enemy AI. Banjo-Kazooie 2 is an action-adventure sequel. Mickey's Speedway USA is a Disney-themed racing game similar to Mario Kart. Custom Robo V2 is a robot action game with deep single-player and exciting multiplayer. Animal Leader is an animal-themed action game utilizing a unique howling mechanic. Echo Delta is a real-time strategy game set underwater. Mega Man Legends 2 is an action RPG focused on exploration and traps. WWF WrestleMania 2000 is a wrestling game with a large roster. The page also teases more titles on the next page, and mentions the GameCube, codenamed Dolphin, was present at Space World, but limited to a press event. This page is a game preview for Gendai Daisen Ryaku, Ultimate War on the N64, which was released in English as Daisen Ryaku Expert 2. This strategy game is presented as answering the call of N64 fans and is set for release in November. The page breaks down the gameplay mechanics, highlighting features like Operation Time, which seems to be a turn-based system where actions consume time on a gauge. It also mentions an easy system where battles outside of the player's turn are automatically handled, aiming to reduce waiting time and keep the pace moving. Another point is the scenario that changes with the war situation, suggesting dynamic scenarios influenced by player choices and outcomes, offering replayability. The screenshots show gameplay from the strategic map and battle sequences, demonstrating unit selection, movement, and combat. The text emphasizes strategic elements, such as capturing cities to gain resources, and deploying various unit types, including ground vehicles and aircraft. The page concludes with a victory screen image, indicating the objective is to fulfill victory conditions to clear a map and proceed to the next battle, allowing players to strengthen their army for future engagements. This page highlights the upcoming Game Boy Advance and its key features. It emphasizes 4 main points: the powerful 32-bit CPU and wide LCD screen for beautiful graphics exceeding previous handhelds, its ability to connect to mobile phones and the internet for data downloads and online features, the inclusion of chat functionality for online multiplayer, and the potential for connecting with Nintendo's next-generation console, codenamed Dolphin, which became the GameCube, to unlock new gaming experiences. The page also details the Game Boy Advance's specifications, including its 32-bit RISC CPU, reflective TFT color LCD screen size, resolution, and battery life of around 20 hours. A survey of third-party developers reveals that 13% are currently developing software for the Advance, while 85% are not, and 2% are undecided. However, it's noted that many more third-party companies are interested in developing for the system. 9 upcoming games are listed, including Kuru Kuru Kururin, Mario Kart Advance, later released internationally as Mario Kart Super Circuit, Golden Sun, Napoleon, Rockman XE, Mega Man Battle Network, Silent Hill AGB, Japan-only Silent Hill Play Novel, Konami YY Racing Advance, Japan-only, Golfmaster AGB, and Momotaro Matsuri, Japan-only. These games represent various genres and makers, including Nintendo, Capcom, Konami, and Hudson. Upcoming Game Boy Advance titles include several genres. In racing, Mario Kart Advance promises a definitive handheld racing experience. The strategy genre features Napoleon, tasking players with conquering Europe. Golden Sun, a traditional RPG from Camelot, stars Robin in a world-saving quest. Kuru Kuru Kururin offers simple, yet intriguing, action gameplay, based on stick rotation. Nintendo and Konami are collaborating on Mobile 21, creating a mobile phone adapter and developing mobile communication software. ExityCube, supported by Nintendo and Dentsu, aims to assist mobile game content creators. Finally, Brownie Brown, a new studio formed by X Square members, is developing the RPG Magical Vacation for a spring release. This page is all about the Game Boy Advance game Momotaro Festival, a new title in the Momotaro Densetsu series. It's described as a festival RPG packed with minigames. The page showcases different areas within the game, such as a village, dungeon, snow country, and a festival area. It highlights the Yugi Road and Game Lots of Peach minigames, emphasizing the goal of achieving high scores and setting new records. The game features a Yugi album mode, allowing players to revisit minigames, and suggests that skilled play in the minigames could lead to some kind of reward. The article promotes this as a fun and engaging minigame experience within the Momotaro universe. This page is showcasing upcoming Game Boy Advance games from third-party developers, highlighting familiar characters making their debut on the GBA. First up is Mega Man Battle Network, a Capcom title with an undecided release date and price. Set in a 200X network society, it depicts a world riddled with cybercrime, where Mega Man.exe battles against evil network organizations to maintain peace. Next is Konami YY Racing Advance, a racing game featuring a large cast of Konami characters like Goemon and Power Pro-kun. Visitors to Space World could actually play this game at the venue. Moving on to Pocket GT Advance from MTO, described as a realistic racing simulator. The game emphasizes advanced graphics, rotation, and zoom capabilities to enhance the sense of speed and realism. Finally, there is Space Hexite X, a thought-provoking PZG game by Leiji Matsumoto, featuring iconic characters like Mattel and Harlock. The game is set in a space environment with constellations forming the backdrop. This page also touches on predictions for Nintendo's new hardware releases. It discusses rumors that the GameCube, then known as Dolphin, might be officially named StarCube. Release date predictions suggest the GBA launching around November 21st, while the Dolphin is expected in spring of the following year. Price speculation for the GBA ranges between 8,800 yen and 25,000 yen, with the Dolphin's price still unknown. As for launch titles, Mario Kart is predicted for the GBA, while either a Mario or Zelda game is anticipated for the Dolphin. This article highlights Game Boy Color games showcased at Nintendo Space World 2000, featuring 55 titles. 2 games receive special attention: The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and Pokémon Puzzle Challenge. Oracle of Seasons is an action RPG, the first part of a 2-part series, emphasizing the core mechanic of manipulating seasons with the Rod of Seasons to solve puzzles and navigate environments. Pokémon Puzzle Challenge is a puzzle game utilizing a panel-to-pawn, Puzzle League style, with Pokémon characters and panel-swapping gameplay focused on chains and combos. The article also includes a table listing all 55 games by genre and developer, showcasing the diverse range of Game Boy Color titles presented at the event, including games like Donkey Kong 2001 and several other titles. This page previews several Game Boy Color games. Donkey Kong, likely Donkey Kong Country, boasts enhanced visuals in a new adventure to retrieve stolen bananas. Legend of Staffy is a sea-based action game with a treasure hunt and comical elements. Tennis GB Color links with Mario Tennis 64 on N64, allowing cross-game character use. Hamtaro and Friends offers fortune-telling and digital pet interactions with hamsters, including data saving. Mystery Zone introduces a puzzle game using TV remotes for control and even 2-player battles. Market trends highlight a surge in Game Boy titles, with software for younger girls becoming popular. A motion sensor cartridge for Koro Koro Kirby is also mentioned, offering innovative gameplay. This page highlights a diverse selection of Game Boy Color and Game Boy games. Titles include RPGs like Tales of Phantasia, Narakiri Dungeon, costume-based combat, Star Ocean, Blue Sphere, Dynamic Dungeons, and Shin Megami Tensei. Devil Children, Black Book, Demon Fusion and Trading. Other notable entries are Bokuju Monogatari, GB3, Harvest Moon GB3, a farm simulation, Pocket King, strategy RPG with race-based gameplay, and Rockman X, Cyber Mission, Mega Man Extreme, an action game. Also included are Beatmania GB Gacha Gacha Mix 2, a rhythm game, and Super Robot Pinball, a pinball game featuring super robots. Upcoming Game Boy Color releases span diverse genres. RPGs include Command Master, Enix, a command-based battle RPG, Koto Battle, Alpha Dream, a card game using word spirits, Gimmick Land, Alpha Dream, an action-focused RPG with unique weapons, and Rokuman Tengai Monster Collection, Night GB, Kadokawa Shoten, a card battle RPG based on an anime. Action features Daikatana GB, Kemco, a sword-wielding adventure across time. Puzzle games include Pop-Un Pop, Jordan, a shooter puzzle hybrid, and Puzzle Bobble Millennium, Ultron. Etc. titles include Sylvania Family 2, Epoch, an adventure with raising elements, and Grand Casino, Ultron, a casino game. Simulation offers Densha de Go 2. Cyberfront, a train driving simulator. Shooting showcases Boon Boon Carboon, Gaps. Finally, etc. includes Go! Go! Hitchhike 2, J-Wing, a hitchhiking tournament game. This page unveils secrets of Mario Tennis 64, detailing how to unlock hidden characters and courts. Shy Guy and Donkey Kong Jr. are unlockable characters, earned by winning tournaments. Winning 3 tournaments in singles or doubles for the first time unlocks Shy Guy. The page also lists 6 hidden courts, each with unique ball speed and bounce properties. These courts are unlocked by winning specific cups in singles mode, using certain characters. Mario Brothers Court, Mario Mushroom Cup, Mario and Luigi Court, Mario and Luigi Star Cup, Baby Mario and Yoshi Court, Yoshi Mushroom Cup, Donkey Kong Court, Donkey Kong Mushroom Cup, Wario and Waluigi Court, Mario and Waluigi Star Cup, and Kyarurin and Yoshi Court, Kyarurin and Yoshi Star Cup. The page, part of Love Love Research Institute, includes manga characters and a reader comment section. This page delves into secret techniques and hidden characters for various games. For The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, it explains a method to reach Termina Field using the Deku Mask and magic beans. The trick involves initiating the Bomber's event, planting a magic bean outside the Astronomy Tower, and using Honey and Darling Shop in West Clock Town on the final day to get to Termina Field as Oni Link, Fierce Deity Link. Moving to Olympic 2000, it reveals secret characters are unlocked by entering Tokyo as a name when creating a player. Doing so makes all athletes' metallic and hidden characters appear. It mentions that despite being hidden, their abilities are the same as regular athletes. The page also notes that achieving first place in championship mode in Go For It! Nippon Olympic 2000 is difficult and seemingly unnecessary unless you're aiming to use the hidden characters. For Kinnikuman GB2, it highlights the appearance of hidden characters like Kinkutsuman and others, listing unlock conditions such as perfectly clearing specific stages like Sasuke Jr. and Blackout Cross. Finally, a comic strip section playfully introduces a deep secret technique in Majora's Mask, where wearing the Zora mask and pressing the B button while wearing Kamaro's mask makes Link dance in a sexy way, purely for comedic effect. This page features tips and tricks for N64 games. For Pop and Music GB, there's a cheat to play the tutorial-only mode by entering specific passwords like KCEK, POPN, and Bimani, corresponding to Konami, Beatmania, and Pop Music. There are several tips for The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. One trick involves Sakan's pot, where you can make Sakan dash by taking a picture when the bag of goods is stolen by a crow in the initial 12 p.m. night scene at Clocktown North near the Curiosity Shop. Another tip reveals that wearing a mask when entering the Matt Target game at Honey and Darling's shop changes the number of targets. Another Majora's Mask trick explains that shooting an arrow at the Honey and Darling's target game will pause the time briefly, giving an advantage. Lastly, in Clocktown's reception area, speaking to the receptionist from a different angle by entering the back room allows for new dialogue. The page also includes a section called Wow! Project Pillar News for reader submissions of game tips and tricks for prizes, and details on how to submit these tips via postcard or fax. The prize list shows different ranks for submissions with different levels of prizes, including toy tickets worth up to 12,000 yen. The magazine's address and contact fax number are provided for readers to send in their tips. The next page from the Pokemon Club section is all about Pokemon breeding in Pokemon Gold and Silver. It explains the concept of egg groups, detailing that Pokemon are categorized into 15 different groups like plant, bug, flying, human-like, and monster groups. The article explains that Pokemon within the same egg group, or sometimes across different groups if they share a common group, can breed to produce eggs. It also points out some Pokemon that cannot breed, and that Pokemon in the Egg Undiscovered group, which includes legendary Pokemon like Mewtwo, Lugia, Hu, and Celebi, cannot produce eggs. The page also details how using Metamon, Ditto, is crucial for breeding, as it can breed with almost any Pokemon outside of the Egg Undiscovered group. There's a screenshot from the game, showing the daycare and dialogue related to leaving Pokemon to breed, emphasizing that understanding these egg groups is key to successfully breeding Pokemon in Pokemon Gold and Silver. This page delves into the intricacies of Pokemon breeding mechanics, specifically how baby Pokemon inherit moves from their parents. Using Girafarig and Apom as examples, the page explains 3 key rules governing move inheritance in hatched Pokemon. These rules detail how special egg moves, moves learned from TM, technical machines, and level-up moves are passed down from the parent Pokemon. The page also highlights Ditto and its unique role in breeding, noting how it simplifies the process. Finally, it showcases Mr. Mime and Hypno as further examples of Pokemon breeding combinations to illustrate these principles. This Dengeki Nintendo 64 magazine page focuses on The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, highlighting it as a 2000 action RPG sequel to Ocarina of Time. The article, part of a series on Shigeru Miyamoto's N64 work, details the game's development. Miyamoto states that development began in 1999 and focused on creating a compact, highly polished experience, contrasting with Ocarina of Time's scope. The core design centered around the flow of time, creating a unique Zelda experience. Miyamoto's key points were character-driven drama, realism through time's passage, and manageable 3D dungeon difficulty. Screenshots showcase gameplay, including character interactions, dialogue, and dungeon exploration. The game emphasizes NPC stories unfolding within a limited time frame, making the world feel dynamic and alive. This article summarizes Shigeru Miyamoto's commentary surrounding the development of Majora's Mask. Early discussions around the release of Ocarina of Time focused on a continuous time flow system. At Space World 99, Miyamoto highlighted the game's focus on character drama and deeper storytelling. By February 2000, Miyamoto felt Majora's Mask transcended a typical game, offering a unique experience. Music. He described the 3-day system not as a small game, but a compact, replayable experience, emphasizing player choice and agency. The continuous time flow presented challenges, influencing puzzle design and creating intense moments, such as boss fights, at the 3rd day's end. Miyamoto also discussed difficulty, acknowledging the need for adjustments in light of the game's replayability. He concluded by stating that the experience of creating Majora's Mask would inform future Mario and Zelda titles. The article also featured a contest to win a signed copy of the game. This page is a prize giveaway announcement featuring 9 different prizes. The top prize is for 3 lucky winners to receive the N64 game WWF WrestleMania 2000, a hugely popular wrestling game in America that has now arrived in Japan, featuring wrestlers in American-style chaotic battles. Other prizes include Game Boy games like Kirby's Block Ball, localized title, Pop-In Music GB Animation Melody, Hamtaro, Ham Hams Unite, localized title, and Elevator Action X. Merchandise prizes are also on offer, such as a set of 7 different Kirby straps, a Game Boy Color console, a book card from MediaWorks, and Pokemon plush toys of Pikachu and Pichu. The page also provides application instructions for the giveaway and lists the winners from the previous month's giveaway for games including Mario Tennis 64 and Paper Mario, localized title. The next page is an advertisement for the Mario Story Perfect Strategy Guide, which we know internationally as Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64. This guide is a special edition from Dengeki Nintendo 64 and is slated to be released on September 7th, priced at 750 yen plus tax. The advert emphasizes that it's a complete guide, with maps and charts covering all 8 stages, 160 star pieces, and all 80 badges. It's touted as the perfect navigation tool for players. The page also advertises strategy guides for other platforms and games, including Grandia 2 for Dreamcast, SD Gundam G Generation F for PlayStation, Sorceress Stabber Orpheon, and XFIRE Crossfire, both for PlayStation 2, and finally, All-Star Project for PlayStation. This page is a preview of the upcoming Game Boy Color game, known internationally as Kirby Tilt and Tumble. It highlights the game's core concept, which involves tilting the Game Boy to control Kirby, who is in ball form. The page describes it as a new sensation action game for the Game Boy that utilizes a motion sensor cartridge. The article explains the basic gameplay system, where players navigate Kirby through courses by tilting the Game Boy Color console. It mentions that the game is structured across 8 levels, each divided into 4 stages. The screen view section breaks down the heads-up display elements. Score. Earned by collecting items and defeating enemies. A high score is recorded. Kirby's health. Represented by a gauge which decreases upon collision with enemies. Health can be recovered with items. Remaining time. a countdown timer to reach the goal. Running out of time restarts the level from the beginning or a midpoint gate. Bonus points are awarded for remaining time upon reaching the goal. Star pieces. Collectible items. Gathering 50 grants Kirby a 1 UP, extra life. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing various environments and HUD elements. The page also mentions checkpoints, midpoint gates, and boss battles at the end of each level. In short, this is an introductory preview of Kirby Tilt and Tumble, explaining its unique motion control gameplay and fundamental mechanics for readers. This Kirby game guide introduces various course elements and items. Course elements include jump holes for directional jumps, square holes are tilt controlled, sky areas for floating, bouncy floors for high jumps, hidden holes with items, hint boards for guidance, and bumpers that bounce Kirby. Items include maximum tomatoes, health, time panels, star fragments for 1 UPs, warp stars, bonus course, red stars for rewards, wind bells, temporary flight, and blue stars, unlocking a minigame. Collecting the blue star and finishing the level unlocks one of 5 minigames, which increase Kirby's lives. The guide uses a level 11 map as an example and notes the general progression from bottom to top. This page previews Harvest Moon GB3, also known as Harvest Moon 2 GBC internationally, for the Game Boy Color. It highlights the game's story, which revolves around 2 main characters, Pete and Sarah, and their intertwined destinies on a farm. The story is introduced in 2 parts, Pete's story and Sarah's story. Pete's narrative begins in a flower-filled village, where he inherits a rundown farm from his deceased grandfather and sets out to rebuild it. Sarah's story sees her leaving for school in the city, only to return to her father's ailing farm after his illness. Both characters are destined to meet, and their stories intertwine as they rebuild their farms together. Gameplay-wise, the page focuses on 2 key aspects, farming and animal care. Farming involves daily activities, like watering crops and harvesting, with the satisfaction of a bountiful harvest emphasized. Animal care is presented as essential, highlighting the need to feed animals, collect milk and wool, and breed them. The game emphasizes the importance of caring for animals and the rewards of doing so, allowing players to produce milk, butter, and cheese. Screenshots depict in-game scenes showing characters interacting, farming activities such as planting crops, and animal husbandry with cows and sheep. The game is presented as a heartwarming and engaging experience for players. This page presents first looks at 2 games. The top half details Momotaro Densetsu 1 greater than 2, a new entry in the famous Momoden series for the PC Engine, combining elements from the Famicom and PC Engine versions. It's an RPG where you play as Momotaro, accompanied by animal companions like a monkey, dog, and pheasant, to defeat demons. Featured characters who aid Momotaro include Kintaro, Yashahime, and Urashima Taro. The gameplay is shown in a screenshot featuring a battle scene and character stats. The bottom half introduces Attack Com Dungeon Doluaga for the Famicom, A vs. Dungeon RPG, and sequel to The Tower of Druaga. Players take on the role of Knight Gillis or Priestess Caria, exploring dungeons, collecting jewels, and battling creatures using spell cards. The objective is to seize jewels and open doors to progress. A screenshot shows dungeon gameplay, and a My Dungeon section explains game controls for creature placement and spell usage. This page previews 2 games. The top section is about Hamtaro, Hams Unite, a game where you can determine your compatibility with friends by inputting birthday and blood type data. It features 12 types of Hamtaro characters. The game uses infrared communication to exchange data and determine compatibility between players. The bottom section covers Robot Pet Hatchling GB Halobots, a robot customization RPG. It highlights the combination of parts to transform halos into giant robots. It mentions over 120 robots from Sunrise anime series will appear in the game. The gameplay involves battling with small partner robots called halos, and it's described as a robot-raising RPG. Screenshots show gameplay interfaces and various robot designs, including Machin Hero Wataru, Aura Battler Dunbine, Blue Comet SPT Leisner, Armored Trooper Votoms, Invincible Robotrider G7, and King of Braves Gao Gaigar. This page features previews of 2 games. First is Pokemon Puzzle Stadium 2, a puzzle game where you battle with Pokemon. It highlights the active chain system, where clearing panels strategically lets you send nuisance panels to your opponent. It mentions new modes like Obstacle Attack. The second game is Hamster Paradise 3. Hamu Para Paradise 3. A hamster-raising simulation game aimed at young girls. It's described as a gentle hamster-raising game with a focus on communication features, allowing you to connect with friends. It introduces mini-games and customizable hamster cages, and also presents a new character named Cute Hamster Curly, who will give advice in the game. This page is showcasing first reports on 4 Game Boy games. Beatmania Gotcha Mix 2 is the third installment in the Beatmania GB series, featuring a variety of music genres and gameplay. Sorayuke Enponmen. 5 Tsu no Tu no Usama is an Enponmen action game set in a tower with maze elements. Puzzle designer Po. Uo Tamachan is a new puzzle game where players connect pieces and features the character Uo Tamachan. Lastly, Space Invaders X is presented as an evolution of the classic Space Invaders, with new items and ship types to enhance the strategic gameplay. The next page is showcasing first reports on 3 Game Boy Color titles. JETZGO appears to be a flight simulation game where you pilot a jet and must manage altitude and speed to reach your destination, featuring realistic night flights and even hidden aircraft, with gameplay changing based on aircraft size. Doki Doki Densetsu Mahojin Guru Guru is an RPG where you summon monsters using magic circles to battle. Based on the popular anime series, you level up your magic circles to progress through dungeons and can purchase weapons in shops to aid in combat. Finally, Mimiru Bear no Happy Mail Town is an AVG title where you befriend and communicate with characters in a town, with mini-games and fortune-telling elements, and a large cast of 100 characters to encounter. This page is showcasing several upcoming Game Boy Color games. First up is Blood, Sweat, and Tears High School Baseball, a baseball simulation game where you aim to become a legendary high school baseball coach, set for release in October. Next, Poppin' Music GB Animation Melody, a rhythm game featuring popular anime theme songs, is releasing soon in September. It includes music from anime like Galaxy Express 999 and Sailor Moon. Elevator Action EX, a Game Boy Color update to the classic arcade game Elevator Action, is coming in August and features new elements. Then there is Billiard Club, a realistic billiard game also for Game Boy Color, scheduled for September. Finally, a mini preview highlights a Kirby game, likely Kirby Tilt and Tumble, described as a unique rolling Kirby game utilizing a motion sensor cartridge and releasing in August. The next page is a strategy guide for the Game Boy Color game Sakura Wars GB. Blazing Flowers, Joining the Flower Division. It gives advice on how to build trust with characters in the game, emphasizing the importance of kind and sincere choices during conversations. The guide highlights key gameplay points, such as paying attention to character icons and attending morning training. It then details several special character events with specific conditions like dates, times, and relationship requirements, including events for Sakura, Sulamire, Kunumi, Kana, Maria, and Iris, each offering unique scenarios and character interactions within the game. This page is from the October 2000 issue and highlights the CESA Game White Paper, providing detailed data on the 99 game industry. It shows pie charts detailing domestic and overseas hardware shipments, with Game Boy leading domestically and PlayStation strongly overseas. There's a US N64 software top 10 best-selling list for 1999, featuring games like Pokemon Snap at number 1, Donkey Kong 64 at number 2, Super Smash Bros. At number 3, Mario Party, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye 007, Star Wars Episode 1, Racer, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, and WWF WrestleMania 2000. It notes that selling over 1 million copies in the US is rare, highlighting the success of Pokemon and GoldenEye 007. The page also presents data on household penetration rates for consoles like PlayStation, Super Famicom, Game Boy, Famicom, and N64, alongside network service penetration rates like Internet, BS Broadcasting, Cable TV, and CS Broadcasting. Additionally, there's information about a writing contest for Harvest Moon GB3, offering toy vouchers as prizes, and a section introducing new content for the 64DD RANDNet service called Smile for Me. This content seems to be a quiz game featuring a girl and a cat character. Finally, at the bottom, it mentions strategy information for Mario Story, Paper Mario, with a strategy guidebook scheduled for release on September 7th, priced at 720 yen. This page highlights several news items and game rankings. Firstly, there's a report about a Shiren the Wanderer 2 promotional bus running in Tokyo, showcasing characters from the game in a colorful design. An event announcement details the upcoming Tokyo Game Show 2000 Autumn and the 38th Amusement Machine Show, both scheduled for September 23rd and 24th at different locations with varying entry fees. In other news, a new Pokemon communication cable kit is being released by Kemco, featuring Pikachu and Togepi designs and including 3 Pokemon, Chikorita, Totodile, Cyndaquil. Cable toppers, sold separately or as a set with 2 included in a present campaign. There's also news about a motion-controlled table tennis game called Table Tennis Let's Play Exciting Ping-Pongs, set to release in October at 5,980 yen, which connects to a TV and includes 2 rackets for single or multiplayer action. Additionally, a Pikachu tatami mat is being released, a half-size mat priced at 10,000 yen. Finally, the game ranking section lists the top 10 best-selling N64 and Game Boy games from July 3rd to July 30th, with Mario Party 2 at number 1, followed by Mario Tennis 64 and Metabots 3. The anticipated N64 top 5 for the next period includes Shiren the Wanderer 2 at number 1, Pokemon Stadium 2, Mother 3, Resident Evil 0, and Perfect Dark. This page is a summer game special featuring Mario and his brother in a humorous comic strip. The comic starts with 2 girls at the beach, and Mario and his friend are watching them. Mario gets emotional when his friend teases him about being lewd for looking at the girls in swimsuits. Later, they play a game called Sura Nuki Hammer, which seems to be a minigame, possibly from Mario Party. After playing, Mario gets thirsty and goes to buy Ramoon soda, costing 700 yen for 2 bottles. Finally, there is a scene where Mario and Luigi are having a brotherly argument, with Luigi asking Mario not to leave. The page uses screenshots from Super Mario 64 in the comic panels. This page is a humorous comic strip section of the magazine, featuring Mario and Luigi alongside a shopkeeper character. The comic starts with Luigi saying he has to leave Mario's side because he becomes useless when he's around his brother. In another scene, Mario is paying 3 million yen at a shop, and the stressed shopkeeper seems to be having trouble with customers and giving the wrong change. Later, Mario and Luigi are discussing Mario Tennis 64, with Luigi asking if Waluigi would be a good character. There's also a panel referencing Paper Mario, where Peach has been kidnapped. Another part of the comic shows Mario with a girl in a bikini who calls him father, and asks what he wants to eat, identifying the shopkeeper as her dad. The comic ends with a scene of the girl in a bikini holding a crab and asking if she should show it, while someone yells to stop. On the right side, there's a basic column mentioning Famicom, Disk System, and Family Basic, along with illustrations of the Famicom console and disk system. The bottom section is titled Shiomen's Essence and contains reader submissions featuring drawings of anime-style girls and text about summer vacations and aspirations of becoming a manga artist. It also promotes the online web version of OG at Dengeki Online's website. This page is an advertisement for the Game Boy Color game Koro Koro Kirby, released on August 23, 2000, priced at 4,500 yen. The game, known internationally as Kirby Tilt and Tumble, is described as a motion sensor cartridge, where players tilt and move the Game Boy Color to control Kirby's rolling and jumping actions. It highlights the unique motion sensor cartridge as the secret to its gameplay. The page showcases screenshots of gameplay and mentions 5 minigames to enjoy, specifically naming Kirby's Multi-Ball and Kirby's Balloon. This page is an advertisement for the Game Boy Color game Bakusu de Kotora Densetsu GB Special, which is described as a passionate men's truck simulation game. The advert features a brightly decorated truck and promotional text highlighting the game's theme of pursuing dreams on the open road. It mentions the game is currently on sale for 3,980 yen, excluding tax. This page is an advertisement for 2 mahjong games. The top half advertises Neon Genesis Evangelion Mahjong Completion Project, a Game Boy Color game scheduled for release on September 29th for 3,980 yen. It highlights features such as scenario mode, apostle battles, free battles, communication battles, and a trading card mode. The bottom half of the page promotes Digiko's Mahjong Party, also for Game Boy Color, scheduled for release in October 2000. This game boasts features like free battles against characters, winning battle mode where you play against 3 randomly chosen opponents, communication battles, and A Beginner's Guide to Mahjong. Both games are published by King Records.